Hi, everybody. Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. Am I live? Is it Saturday? I'm so mixed up. I used to start at 12:05, and now I start at 1, and I forgot I start at 1, and I was waiting for 1:05. Saturdays, they come and go, and I can't seem to get myself together. So anyway, this week I wanted to share with you a couple of things. One of them is my new favorite deck. Hey, Red Wing. Hey, Nothing So Strange. My new favorite deck, and I thought if I have room or time afterwards, I'll do that little tag by Amethyst Ascension called, what is it called? Something like 11 top current favorite decks or something like that. I think I have it in the description. Hi, SCB. Hi, Rolf. Hey, Care Bear. So anyway, I saw this deck in another video by Kelly Bear. Everybody knows Kelly Bear. And she had a video of her weirdest or strangest decks or something, some tag along those lines. And I didn't think this was particularly weird or strange, but I did love it. And I'm not generally a big Marseille fan, but you know, in France, where this was created, it's very popular. Also, majors only decks are very popular over there. And this is a majors only Tarot de Marseille by Victoria Dorche. Now, this is a few years old, but I'd never seen it before until Kelly Bear showed it. And I just fell in love with it. So I went ahead and ordered it. Wasn't even sure if it was still in print, but it was. And it is not quite full size. It's full height, but a little narrower than normal cards. The cardstock is different than I'm used to. It's really feels very special. It's I think they call it Bristol board or Bristol paper. It's like art paper. It's this matte feel, and it's stiff cards, but there's something about it that's so arty. I mean, it really feels like an art treasure. And these are the backs. I'm not that crazy about the backs. They're okay. They're a little bit wild for me. One of the things I love about this deck, though, is the coloring in it. I love the back of the box, too. Look at the little rainbow dots on the box. It's not like the best tuck box, but better than nothing. I think when Kelly got it, she only got it shrink wrapped or something. So in the meantime, they've come up with this box. Hi, Tiger Lily. So I'm going to show you these cards. Now, they look to be, I don't know if it's watercolor or ink, but they're very colorful and very playful. And they, I think it's funny. This deck is so full of color and makes me think of spring. This is kind of going to be my spring deck, spring usage deck, I think. I love the colors in this. I love the quality of the illustration. It's very playful. It's very spring-like, I think. And I think if this were a 78 card deck, I might feel overwhelmed by the amount of color and variety in the imagery, almost like it's too much. But at 22 cards, it's like a treasure. So these are not in order because I've been using them. But here we have the Star. They're with French titles. This is a French deck. You can see sort of what looks like the cosmos or something on the skin. Here we have the Wheel of Fortune, La Roue de Fortune. I love the playfulness about it. I just love the color, the palette. I even like the expressions in the figures. Here we have the Empress, L'Impératrice. And it looks a little bit like the Playful Heart, kind of, a little bit. The Moon, La Lune. I love the little crab that looks like a cat crab almost. There's a real playful quality to the artwork here. Care Bear says, I'd prefer to spend less on the deck than more on the box. Yeah. New shopping tarot trend is seeking out indie creators' discounted flawed decks that are very minimal in flaws. I've been getting them 50% off. The back makes more sense seeing those shapes reflected on the front. Oh, hi, M.A. and L. Phillips. So the deck, sorry, you came in late. I was late too. Tarot de Marseille, there's a million decks with that title, but this one's by Victoria Dorche. You can Google her online. I don't remember if I included a link or not. And you can order directly from her. And this is like an art treasure on this art paper cardstock, which I'm not used to. I usually, this looks to me like over time it's going to pick up and hold dirt and skin oils and things, which I'm not thrilled about. So I'm going to be very careful with it for as long as I'm using it. I tend to sort of like cards that are linen stock or have a little bit of a sheen to them. This is matte, but there's something really special about it. And I just love the characters and the colors. And it's like, it really kind of gives fresh life to Marseille decks, I think. It's sort of a modern take on it, but it's, it follows the traditional template. Here we have the lovers, l'amoureux. It wasn't cheap particularly. I think it was around 40, but I ordered it from France and then shipped over here. And then, and also it's an independent deck. I don't even know how many it's limited to, but sometimes it's worth it. We don't all buy decks for the economy of the deck. We buy them for the art, or I do. So here we have the Emperor, L'Empereur. I don't speak French. L'Empereur. So there's just a dab of diversity. We have a couple of dark skinned figures in the deck. And Temperance. I love the cheery cheeks, the sort of odd expression on the face. I like the sort of cosmological patterns in some of the draperies. The unnumbered 13 card, which if it were not labeled, or I should say unlabeled 13 card, if it were labeled, it would be La Mort, the death card. Number 2, La Papesse, the Popess or the High Priestess. Isn't she sweet? The cheeks are so rosy, they come right off the face. I've never seen this heron here when it's sunny before, so that's strange. A blue heron just flew. Oh, sorry. Skipping ahead. I'm still on the fence about majors only decks, but a beautiful deck always tempts me. Well, I have no issues with majors only decks. Designed my own. And there's so much controversy in the tarot community about it. For me, it's all comes down to, can you relate or identify with it? Can you read with it? If you can read with it, then it works, you know? I don't feel like I'm missing a thing not having the minor arcana. I can read with a full deck. I can read with a majors deck. I get the messages either way. Some people say that the majors only apply to major life events. Well, I say every little day, every little event could be a detail of a larger life event. It's all related. So yeah, I don't hold to that, you know, that majors are only good for the big events in your life. I consult mine every day, and it always seems to help guide me. Hello, Taproot Tarot. Welcome. Next card is number 8, which is traditional to the Marseille deck. It's the Justice card. I think one of the things that I often find a little bit limiting about Marseille decks is traditionally they have a limited palette. There's like 2, 3, 4 colors, and they're kind of blocked out or use stencils or whatever. This has a similar quality, but it's not stenciled. It looks like it's modeled after a stenciled Marseille deck, but it's definitely watercolor or tempera. I'm not sure which, but I do like the color palette. These colors, the blues and greens and reds, are a little warmer. And so that really kind of makes me think of spring when the sunshine is hitting plants in the morning and they have that green that's almost more like a yellow green than you get later when it's richer, like around the holidays or whatever. You get a darker green or a richer green, a more emerald green. And I love reds that are more of a kind of a fiery red as opposed to like a cherry red. Here we have the chariot, le chariot, le chariot. I don't know if you pronounce the T in French or if it doesn't have an E after it. The sun. Some people have issues with French labels, French titles. And I think that it's important to learn your majors in terms of what the titles are, regardless of language, and what the numbers are. If you have the numbers, you almost don't need the titles. If you know your numbers, and if the images follow the scheme of Marseille, then you know already. This is the Sun card. This is my favorite card in the deck, actually, the Hermit. I have never seen a hermit. You tell me, have you ever seen a hermit wearing glasses? I love a hermit wearing glasses. I also like how one edge of one of the glasses is white, so this offset against the dark cloak. And he has this sort of prismatic lantern. I think this might be my new favorite hermit card. I'm so in love with the glasses in this one and the white hair. It's me. I don't have hair like that. And the devil is 15, of course. Playful looking devil. I sent word to Masha of Musings by Masha about this deck because she's very much into Marseille, and I think she will love this deck. She wanted to be here, but I think it's the middle of the night for her in Australia. So hopefully she'll watch this back later and drop a comment below. Next we have the Pope, or Le Pape. This one's kind of intriguing that we've got, looks like we've got 3 figures instead of 2 at the bottom, actually a 4th. There's this yellow arm coming out from one side, so that's a little bit different on a Pope card. Number 20, Le Judgment. Maybe you think this is too playful for Marseille and that it needs to be more serious. But I don't know. Some of the traditional Marseilles have a playful quality to them, an almost crudeness. And this deck for me is just like so full of life. Here we have the Magician, or Le Battleur. Funny, I'm not even sure I would relate to this the same way if this were, say, glossy cardstock or stock with a sheen. There's something about the matte art card feel of it. Can you hear the ASMR of what those cards sound like together? That paper. You can see the edge of the card a little bit. Is it the same artist as Lillifer? No. This artist is Victoria Dorche or Dorche. There's no accent on the E, so it's not Dorche. I don't know how you pronounce her name. I kind of love the lobster or crayfish on the back of the. I like the back better than the front of the box, actually. Le Monde, the world. Now, I don't know who out there of you are Marseille fans or fiends or followers. You can answer this question for me if you're knowledgeable. I have the Hanged Man, and in this one, he's reversed. He's upright. And there is a traditional Marseille deck in which this occurs, where it appears more like he's standing than hanging. It's just the perspective on the shifted perspective has been shifted. So this is what we would normally see in the Hanged Man card. But in this one, because of the labeling, it's been turned on its head. I wasn't sure how I felt about that at first, but it does have to do with a certain tradition of Marseille. I'm just not clear on the specifics. And if Masha was here, she could tell me instantly what the answer to that is. And maybe if she watches, she'll leave it in the comments below. Next, we have in the 11 position, where we usually have Justice, the Strength card, La Force. The bright yellow lion. I got to say, this does remind me a lot of the Playful Heart, which I don't have, and the Pipspeak Tarot. Both of those were designed by the same artist, but that artist is not this artist. But the style is very similar and colorful and playful. And lastly, we have Le Mat, or the Fool, which is unnumbered here. Is not 0, it's just unnumbered, which is also traditional. Cheery cheeked, with cherry cheeks that float right off the face. I got to tell you, this deck gives me excitement and encouragement to play with it throughout the coming weeks and months of spring into summer. I mean, this is a deck that I think I will really enjoy now all the way through till the fall and maybe beyond. It's just, I don't know. I tend to love to carry around majors only decks and ones that inspire me either through the imagery or the color palette in the artwork, something that encourages a mood in me to go deeper, and have a little suede pouch that I bought off Amazon for it, that I can use as a spread cloth for a spread of 3, which is what I mostly do. And this gives a little extra reinforcement to a very slim deck in a sort of lightweight tuck box. So anyway, we're about a half hour in. I didn't think we'd spend a whole hour looking at these images. And if you're arriving late, I encourage you to go back to the beginning and watch them all and check out this deck. I'm so grateful to Kelly Bear for having shown it in her video and introduced me to it. I'm sure all of you have found decks that other presenters and various channels have called to your attention that you wouldn't know anything about otherwise. And that's how we kind of cross-pollinate and build each other's collections. And I'm thrilled to know about this one. I think you all know that my collection is a little bit on the eclectic side. So now we're going to go to that prompt. If I can I locate it? What is the name of it? Let me look it up. It let's see. Amethyst Ascension. That's Rochelle. And I'm just going to quickly on another tab going to her site to find under the playlist. Hashtag top 11 current favorite decks. And I think she did this because she said that they do these top 10 decks or favorite decks that change all the time. You get new decks and some pass in, some pass out. And so this is not forever or of all time. It's your current favorite decks. The moment, this one's at the top of my list, this Tarot de Marseille. I'll show you the other ones. There's going to be some repetition because mostly mine stay the same. But, we'll go through. They're not in particular order. The next one I've actually kind of combined because I have had a sort of an honorary mention at 11. But I use these two together. So instead of 1 and 2, I'm just going to say, this is my first one. So my first one is my Open Face Tarot, which you've all seen, I'm sure, many times if you tuned in to watch me. There we have the Empress, the Sun, the Chariot, the Devil, and the Fool, and the Emperor. These aren't labeled, but I do have a larger version that does have labels on them if you can't figure it out. But if you're a tarot studier, you should be able to easily tell what these cards are. There's the Moon, the Hanged Man, the Lovers, Strength, and Justice. Temperance, the World, the Tower. Those are the backs. So that's my first of 11 favorites. Use it every day. And I use it in I use it in a spread of 3 in combination with a Lenormand spread. So the other half, shall we say, of this one of 11, since I use them paired together, is my Little Norman's Lenormand. So here we have the Key, the Snake, the Stork, or Storks, the Birds, the Bear, the Letter, the Fish, the Lilies, and the Tower, and the Whip, and the House. Just a little sampling there. These are available at makeplayingcards.com if anybody has any interest. If you don't, that's fine too. They're my cards. I'm not that concerned about whether they work for other people or not. They work for me. Robin's deck reminds me of Picasso's one-line drawings. Picasso would pay his bar tabs with them drawn on serviettes. Interesting. Writing that down to try it on my morning show. Experimenting live. I wonder if she's talking about the prompt or about pairing decks. Anyway, I know a lot of people will do majors only to get a theme or a spread, and then they'll use a full deck underneath the several cards that direct the spread. But I combine majors with Lenormand. So I don't know if that's weird, but that's what I do. Next one is my deck of the year this past year. It's slowly working its way into the background. I still love it. It's still a favorite, but somehow, even though I use it every day, it's not as much of a favorite as it was in the first few months. And but I'll show you a few cards. This is called the Manuscript of Initiations. Most beautiful backs of any card deck I think I own. And we have here the Lovers. The Empress. These really don't communicate that well on a camera such as mine. The Five of Cups. Very easy to read what they are, either through the labels or counting. It's like a pip deck. It's not really scenic, but they do have sort of supporting little vignettes or scenes or images on the cards that aren't necessarily easy to read intuitively, but every once in a while they will suggest something. Here we have the Devil. And these images are culled from what they call marginalia, the margin illustrations on medieval manuscripts. Here we have the Magician. I love this magician sort of riding on a fish, the back of a fish. Taproot says, love this one. One of my faves too. In fact, I'm pretty sure I got it after seeing you on one of Simon's group talks. Kara, yes, something will stand out to me out of nowhere sometimes. Here's the 8 of coins. I like that in this one they're sort of seem to be constructing a shelter. I'm sort of obsessed on YouTube with tiny house and bushcrafting and shelter making. So this has particular appeal to me. And my significator card that I've chosen for myself is the 3 of Wands. I sort of like this depiction of sort of moving forward alone, you know, deciding what to do next. Sums up my life. And here is the 7 of coins, which has a couple of mandrake roots in it, which are fun. It's cultivating. Here we have the Hanged Man. I realize this deck isn't for everyone. Some people like more contemporary images and they like scenes that are easier to read. I think once you know your system, regardless of the imagery, you can read. I mean, if you just gave me a deck that just had the numbers and labels on them, I could read it without any imagery at all. for me, the imagery, it can be intuitive, but mostly it just kind of enhances what the labeling in the system is. And here we have the Fool. So it sort of kind of reminds you of some of these marginal images, like Hieronymus Bosch. But I just love the kind of mystical, secretive kind of quality to the art in this deck. Makes me feel like I'm privy to some secret medieval manuscript that was very hush hush. You're not supposed to tell people about magic or mysticism. You're supposed to keep it to yourself. Only you are in the know, and you study it privately and personally and learn it. Next, I have, this is one I think that sort of fell a little bit out of favor, not fell out of favor, but kind of moved to the back burner and has recently come back into my life. I don't keep it in the box. This is the box it comes in, and I think it's out of print, but I think you can still find it fairly easy. Tarot, the Complete Kit. It's also often referred to as the Tarot Nova, I believe, or also the Running Press Tarot. And the cards are glossy. They're almost square. But very, very beautiful and colorful. And they're on black backgrounds, which is intriguing, I think. So depending on the suit, the corners are color coordinated. Here we've got the Page of Pentacles. Very simplistic, very playful. So this would be a good companion, actually, for my new Tarot de Marseille. But it's sort of like the nighttime version rather than the daytime light, because it's on black backgrounds. But the colors really pop, and the palette is very pretty. It's the Hanged Man. 10 of Wands. 3 of Wands. Six of Cups, love that image. Looks more like a Six of Swords than a Six of Cups, but there you go. Some of the images are a little confusing, I think. Again, you have to kind of know your tarot. This deck was a $5 deck on Amazon for years, says L. Phillips. 4 of Pentacles, that one makes sense. Everybody refers to that card as sort of like the miser card. Piggy rushing off to put coins in the piggy bank, being a piggy hoarder. Queen of Wands. Knight of Pentacles. I just really love the card size. I love the color. I love the different idea of the pop bright colors against black backgrounds. The gloss is not great for, video like this, but they look fine on a tabletop to read. Six of Pentacles is usually give and take, sharing. I like the idea of baking bread and breaking bread with others. Anyway, it's a little treasure, I think. I really like it. I'll show you the backs again. They are reversible. It's a very handy pocket-sized deck. And I have a little velvet drawstring bag that's just kind of the perfect size to fit it in and carry without them rattling around too much or bending or creasing. Next, I've got, let me do a little time check, 1:43. We got a little time still. Next is the Enchanted Lenormand. This one is one that I was introduced to by Chris of Elemental Cartomancy, and I don't know that it's that popular with him. I don't see him ever talk about it, but by Caitlin Matthews. Has a really good book with it on Lenormand. Comes in a nice fancy box, but I carry it in a little plastic snap box that I got. You can get these a la carte at make playing cards for I think $2 or something. They're really nice for small decks. This one again is glossy. I think I might prefer if this wasn't glossy. The backs kind of line up in a nice kind of diamond grid. And it has a sort of a, not Victorian, I'm not sure. It has a feel of old-fashioned fairy tales. There's colonial, I think is the word I'm looking for. So here we have the birds. Everything is in a crystal ball. Here's the man. And for people that like the playing card designation on their cards, they've got it. There's no labels, but the images are obvious. We do have numbers, and I don't know my numbers of Lenormand as well as I should. I should have those memorized, but there are 36 of them. And a good Lenormand deck, you can tell by the main symbol. Here's the house. It's like a thatch cottage, which I love. The broom, which is sometimes the broom, it's sometimes the whip. The tower, the tree, paths. I think that's all you need to see of that. These weren't meant to be full walkthroughs, just samplings. Rather than just telling you what the deck is and rushing on, give you a little bit of an idea of some of my favorite cards in the deck to see what you think of them. Next one is, and I have them laid out on the bed here, but I'm not counting them out as they go because, like I said, these aren't in a particular order. There's just 11 of them to match the tag. This is the Maroloon, which used to be on PC. I don't think it is anymore. I think it's now on either Game Crafters or Printer Studio, but I can't remember which. But I bet if you Google Maroloon, you can find them. Again, this is my other favorite back design of any card deck. Love the color palette. And this is a very, very friendly, soft, warm hug of a deck. Ever seen a more peaceful moon than that? I think this is watercolor too, and the palette here are really soft, subdued tones. I think this Chariot card may be a nod to the fairy tale Thumbelina. Although this isn't specifically a fairy tale deck, so it's a little bit of an odd card for that. Another favorite is the Eight of Cups. It does have a kind of like a South American feel to it. I'm not sure why. Very peasant sort of look. Some of the people in it look like they could be either South American or Middle Eastern, Asian. You know. So that's the Mara Lune, Maralunne. Next is, this is Between Worlds, Oracular Cards and Guidebook. Not to be confused with Between the Worlds. This was out of print, but is currently back in print. If you want this, grab it now while it's still around. I don't do oracles generally. I don't do bird or animal decks generally. I do love this one. These are really nice. I'm not big into matte cards. They do have a little bit of a lamination, but it's not even glossy or a sheen. The image on the back looks sort of like a tree filled with little birds. So here we have, I got this one. I love the palette. I love the imagery, but I got it because I love the system and the labels on the cards. Because for me, Oracle decks have to convey something in me to relate to. So this card is called Valley of Love. This one's the Valley of Unity. And valleys are one of the, if you want to call them, suits of the system. But I don't really work with their system that way. I just read the cards in terms of what the word and the intuitive imagery says to me. Here we have Curiosity. Valley of Detachment. The Gardener. Ancestry. I'm never quite sure how to read Ancestry in a deck, but I suppose I would read it as familial influences, energy-wise. The Wayfinder. Valley of the Quest. Rage. And Departure. I can't remember how many cards are in this deck. It's not 78, but it's up there. Here's the inside of the box. It's a very, very sturdy box, and a nice, guidebook, and even a fold-out sheet that's sort of like a express version of a guide. So anyway, Um, yeah, this is the only Oracle deck I use these days. I think, and I don't have that many. I have maybe 3 or 4. Don't really relate to any of them except this one. So, kind of encouraging you to check this out because it did go out of print. Took them a while to come back in print, and I don't know how long it'll be around. If you like it, Google it, check it out. Remember, and they don't even give you a credit on here for the creator's name, but just look for Between Worlds, and if you see this image or you see bird images, you probably got the right one. I think I found it on Etsy. Next is the Oldfellow Tarot, which actually is a redesigning or what's the word? Kind of an updating of the Japanese Keishobu Tarot. Came out in the early 70s, which I jokingly call the deck of the blondes, because it's, even though it was a Japanese design deck, all the characters in it are Caucasian blondes. Now, there are versions of this where they've been recolored to feature different skin tones and different hair colors, but I prefer the one that has the original artwork. And so this is it. Although it's kind of been, the original one I have somewhere here is on horrible cardstock and stark white. This one's been toned down to look aged and more like on ivory cardstock. But this one is a full scenic 78 card deck that sort of mimics Marseille style imagery. This is a very unique card because this Four of Swords is very different than a traditional, excuse me, Rider-Waite-Smith Four of Swords depiction. And these are slightly zoomed in, slightly close up, but basically similar images to Pamela Coleman Smith's designs. I like the color. This is like, typical of what I mean about limited colors in Marseille decks. But I do like the color palette in this one. It's not so much primary colors as slightly tweaked hues. It's like you have the reds and blues and yellows, but they're warmer or more pleasing, I think. L. Phillips, she just did a new Keishobu without tea stains. I think it's called the Blonde and Blue. I believe it's a faithful reproduction. Yeah, I'm not sure. When she first did this one, I thought, gee, I wish she'd done it exactly like the original. And now she has. But now that I have this, I've kind of warmed up to the tea stained look of it. And I don't know if I want to spend the money to buy the other one. Next, we have a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck designed by friend, acquaintance of mine, Ted Veach, and this one goes by the name RWS RL20V2, which means Rider-Waite Smith Roses and Lilies from 2020 version 2. It has an orange Roses and Lilies back. Sorry, this is unavailable unless you reach out to Ted and he happens to want to make it available. He did have it for a while at Make Playing Cards, but then it was during that period where people were complaining about, who took whose scans and who did what with them, and I think it was just too much politics for him to deal with. But he did retool these and make them really wonderful in terms of the color and the line work and no copyrights on them, and they really are, for me, this really is for me the finest RWS deck in terms of coloring and so forth. I would say that this is comparable to the Centennial Waite Smith deck that you can get in a tuck box or a tin, but it doesn't have the copyright on it. It's not exactly the same, but the line work and the palette and the textures kind of the backgrounds are very close. They're very similar. I would say if you can't get this, then the Centennial is an affordable kind of second. But this is my personal favorite Rider-Waite Smith. I love it when you can see the texture in the artwork. And again, I keep it in a little magnetic box that I found also on Amazon. Sometimes you can find really nice containers on Amazon. This is kind of a leatherette kind of stamped design with a magnetic hinge, and the inside is kind of velvet. I put that in there just so I can remember the name of this damn thing, because he didn't really give it a catchy name. Two left to go. Another Marseille. This is the Tarot de Maria Celia in a tin. Some of you will be leaving me as I see it's 2:01 and Simon's channel has probably just started. I only have 2 left to go here. So this is the Maria Celia, very affordable. Again, a beautiful color palette. And of all, Leonard Jim Narciso is the creator. And he's got a number of decks out. But of all his decks, this is the one that I like the best. And it's a very charming sort of Marseille style deck, very warm and friendly. Again, beautiful palette. The Centennial in a tin is my go-to throw in my bag deck. And the last one that I said was sort of an honorary mention when I divided Open Face and Little Lenormand into 2 decks, or 2 choices. And that one is the Squid Cake Marseille Tarot, which is dirt cheap for a mass market deck. And I saw Lisa Pepez discussing it in her decks for March that she used. And she called my attention to the very unusual interpretations in the guidebook, which I didn't bother to read because I thought, oh, I can read with Marseille. I don't need a guidebook. But now all of a sudden I'm intrigued to dump this in my bag when I go to a cafe and read with it. I love the whimsical quality of this deck, and I got this deck mostly for the kind of, I'm not a pinks person, but I got it for the colorful, springy palette. And I also don't generally like contemporary type images, but this one is kind of fun. And the sort of modern characters that are sort of like grungy or yuppie or preppy, or I don't know what you call it. I like the slugs that are in some of the images, snails. And it's very kind of student age, sort of like high school, college, junior college, community college kind of feel to some of the characters. I think it was around 14 or 16 bucks or something. It's like really an amazingly affordable mass market deck. And it's got a nice guidebook, and it comes in one of those really sturdy boxes. And it's by a publisher that I don't think I have. It's Rockpool. I might have a little Rockpool Oracle, but generally speaking, I don't think I have any decks by Rockpool. Anyway, there you have my hashtag 11 top 10 current favorite decks, I think it's called. I don't know. I'll try to put it below, and check out Rochelle's her channel, Amethyst Ascension. I think if you look under her playlist, she will have everybody else's approach to that prompt. So anyway, I'm going to let you go. See you over at the Hermit's Cave, possibly. Bye. See you next time.